What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about 20 of the scariest physical anxiety symptoms that I experience. We're going to talk about my experience, my perception, how they made me feel, and why anxiety, or how anxiety, was causing these symptoms in myself. All right, go ahead and smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt. Leave me a comment as well. Let me know if you have exhibited or shown any signs of these symptoms. I'm sure you have. That's probably why you're subscribed to the channel for further anxiety help, which brings me to this. If you're new here and you want help with your anxiety, subscribe here. Okay, hundreds of free videos that will help you with your anxiety. Okay, it's free. Take advantage of that. Okay. Hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you get updates when I put these videos out. Remember, guys, the description is full of resources, whether it be my coaching program, actual therapy, online therapy, free Facebook groups, so many things, my tips for anxiety, all that's down below in the description. So during the video or after, go check that out. It's also in the first pinned comment. So guys, before we jump into these symptoms, it's important to let you know that I'm not a doctor, okay? So I can't diagnose you with anything. I can't sit here and say that this isn't that or this isn't this. What I have done is experience these symptoms. I have done my own research, and I turned out to be fully healthy, whether I wanted to believe it at the time or not. So anxiety did cause these things for me. I don't deal with these symptoms anymore. So that's the education I want to give you, but it's always important in the beginning. You need to get your initial reassurance, get the initial testing, whatever you got to do to give you somewhat of a peace of mind and move on from there. It's always smart to get checked out, okay? The last thing I want is some of you just ignoring these symptoms without getting any attention at all, or at least the initial testing or reassurance that you need, okay? Very smart to do that. In the beginning, I was scared to go to the doctor. I couldn't bear the thought of finding out that I had something wrong with me, but it was the first step to recovery, especially for my health anxiety, to get that initial reassurance. So some of you need to do that, okay? So go get that done. Now, the first symptom that I'm going to be talking about, guys, is chest pain. This is probably the hardest thing I had to deal with, and this is it kind of wraps up or sums up, my first round and bout with health anxiety. Lasted 2 to 2.5 years. I had cardiophobia, so I had all these symptoms of heart disease, but it was actually panic and anxiety. But to just give you a perspective on how bad it was for me, when I had my first panic attack, yes, it did last roughly 6 hours. So much tension had built up that my chest hurt nonstop. It was very painful, very tense, very tight for 3 weeks after. That's an incredibly long time just from one panic attack. So that really drove my health anxiety through the roof. I really felt like there was something wrong with my heart. Not only that, I was having all these other additional symptoms with the chest pain. Now, to describe my chest pain, I had just about every type, which made me even more terrified that something really was going on. At the very least, I had this dull ache that would come up during the day, either constant or just here and there, just to be like a little reminder, I'm still here. You're not good. So I would deal with that, or I would have sharp pains. I would have this radiating pain. It would kind of cover all of my chest. I did feel like I had crushing pain. I had pain that was just primarily on the left side, which really freaked me out, and in the center, so it made me really feel like I was having a heart attack. But then I would have days where it was on the right side, okay? I would have it high, I would have it low, especially if I was having heartburn. So that was very confusing for me. But chest pain was basically a staple or a cornerstone of my health anxiety, especially the first half, the 2 to 2.5 years when I had the cardiophobia. It scared me. I always thought I was having heart attacks. It would lead me to panic attacks, which I thought were heart attacks. So chest pain was something that I dealt with pretty much throughout all of my anxiety. A little lesser towards the end, but hardcore in the beginning. It's what really kicked it off. The second one, guys, and I hope you don't mind, I have my list here that I'm kind of looking over. Number 2 is numbness, okay? So like I said, cardiophobia in the beginning was huge for me. So I had a lot of different symptoms of heart disease or heart attack, and one of those was numbness, so that would freak me out. Now, I know a lot of you have MS fears or ALS or other neurological disease that you're fearing because of numbness, all right? Make sure that you just go get everything ruled out from your doctor. But with the numbness thing, guys, if anxiety is indeed causing it, your blood flow is actually getting more directed to the central parts of your body, to your core, to actually help you get away from something or fight something off, okay? So you have less blood flow in your extremities, your fingers, your hands, your arms, your feet, your legs, your toes, even your face, your nose. You can pretty much experience numbness anywhere, but those are the most common areas to experience it. And again, especially whenever I was having it on my left side, I would flip out, think that I'm having a heart attack. And a lot of these symptoms, guys, that I'm going to be going over, I had at the same time. Okay, it was no rare occurrence for me to have 10 to 20 to 25 symptoms ongoing at the same time. That's what made it so hard on me. But if I can get through this, you can too. So numbness was very scary, but remember, guys, if anxiety is causing it, it's due to redirected blood flow. But I would have it pretty much anywhere, but most typically it would be on my left side, my fingers, and my hand. So that would really scare me, drive me crazy. I would fear strokes. I had a brief stint where I was really scared of MS. I know many of you are struggling with that fear, okay? The next one, number 3, is tingling. Like I said, this is one that I would have with the numbness, and it would happen in the same areas, either on my face, my nose, my arms, my hands, my fingers, my feet, my legs, my extremities, right? This is also something that happens whenever you have redirected blood flow. So you can have the tingling, you can have the numbness, all right? And I'll throw in a bonus one just for the heck of it, since we're on the subject of redirected blood flow. Cold hands and cold feet. Your temperatures and your body temperature in these areas goes down, excuse me for the ambulance. Your body temperature goes down in these areas also when there's less blood flow. So keep that in mind. The next one, guys, number 4, is brain zaps. Luckily, I didn't have this all the time, but I'm telling you, the couple times that I had it, freaked me out. Okay, the first time especially, I thought I was like stroking out or having an aneurysm. It just happened out of nowhere whenever I was getting ready to go do something with my ex-girlfriend. We were going to go to a Little League game, and we were in a rush. I was very anxious that morning. I think I drank a lot the night before, so, I had a anxiety hangover, and it was terrible. So I'd been having panic, and usually people that have these have some extreme anxiety, episodes of anxiety, or they're coming off of medications, okay? So keep that in mind if you're on antidepressants. Sometimes when you're trying to switch medications, lower dosages, taper off, or quit cold turkey, brain zaps can happen more often. The best way to describe this, guys, it was like my brain was shaking, or it was vibrating, or buzzing, okay? It was like a spasm in my head. Luckily for me, it didn't last very long. Usually they don't, from most of the stories that I've heard of people dealing with it. It doesn't last very long, just a few seconds. But I remember falling to my knees, being like, oh my God. I was like, I told my girl at the time, I was like, call the ambulance. And then it passed. And I was like, no, don't. Okay, I think it was anxiety. But this just happened like a couple times to me. And I think it was when I was just extremely anxious. It led to that, but it's very scary. So if you've dealt with that, you're not alone. There's not a ton of info on them online. There's just not, they're kind of like a mystery. So buzzing, it's like a spasmy type feeling in your head. Number 5 is headaches. Speaking of the head, a lot of these guys are going to be caused by tension. You have muscles all over your body, including your head, okay? So a lot of these are tension headaches, so you can feel like that tight band feeling around your head. This is the most common type of headache associated with anxiety, but anxiety can cause migraines. If you have any history of having headaches or migraines, it's going to make that probably worse. You also have to understand that you're sensitive to most things. So any type of pain that you feel anywhere in your body, including your head, is going to feel even much more worse than it would if you didn't have anxiety. So we catastrophize. We're very negative. It makes the pain amplified, especially when we're focusing as well. So I would have dull aches. The tension headaches are probably the most common, but then I would have these periods of time where I would have sharp pains. So that would freak me out. It would make me feel like I had a tumor, or that there was something wrong with me, a stroke, an aneurysm. It just terrified me. Luckily, I didn't have like this chronic headache. Some of you are dealing with that. It makes it really hard to get out of bed. It makes it hard for you to exercise. I just urge you guys to try to push through that. and work on your positivity. If you're not able to get out there and exercise to try to combat some of the anxiety, to lessen up the pain, challenge the symptoms, okay? Do some of that to help out with your headaches. But a lot of this is just caused by anxiety, all right? And again, if you have an ongoing issue with migraines or headaches, it will make the situation worse, most likely, especially if you're symptom focused. So I would have headaches off and on, and it would scare the crap out of me. Number 6 is fast heart rate. Again, I had cardiophobia, so I was scared of anything being wrong with my heart or anything associated with the heart. So I was very focused in on my body, and my heart rate was one of those. I was constantly checking my heart, okay? Always had my fingers here, on my chest, on my wrist. No, I didn't have a pulse monitor or anything like that, thank God. They would have been nonstop, but I was pretty good at guesstimating my pulse by just putting my fingers here. I could almost guess my pulse without putting my fingers anywhere. I was just that in tune with my body. So my heart rate, guys, would be really, really fast. I had numbers all over the place, but whenever just at rest, not counting sleep, just kind of sitting, it would be anywhere from like 95 to 115 to 120 easy, which is pretty high for somebody just sitting on the couch. If I had panic, we're talking about 160, 180 easy, okay? So my heart rate was high. If you've been checked out by a doctor and your heart is healthy, anxiety can easily cause this, okay? Easily cause this. Stop checking your heart rate if you've been told that you're fine, or unless a doctor has ordered you to do it. If you have anything that helps you check your vitals, get rid of it, okay? This is external reassurance. It's a chain in anxiety itself. Release yourself from that cage, okay? Release yourself from the shackles, okay? You have the key. Stop checking your vitals all day, which brings me to the next one. High blood pressure, okay? Your heart rate's going up, you're having tension, your blood pressure is going to raise as well. At rest, my blood pressure would be anywhere from 125, 130, all the way up to like 145, over anywhere from 95 to 105. That's really high, again, for somebody just sitting on the couch. Whenever I would have a panic attack, we're talking about numbers 160 to 180 over 100 to 110. Again, that if somebody had a heart problem, that would be dangerous, but I didn't have a heart problem. I was in my early 20s, okay, whenever this was happening. So if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. It can happen to anybody. So those are my vitals, guys. So if you want some reassurance on how fast your heart rate is or your blood pressure, and if that's normal with anxiety, yes, hopefully that helps by me giving you my numbers. But fast heart rate, high blood pressure, especially if you're having panic attacks or you're in the fight or flight, your body's trying to pump more blood to all of your, all the areas of your body so you can fight or get away at a higher level. So that's why that's happening. Number 8 is difficulty breathing. This is another one. It can be caused by tension, right? Also, again, you're breathing to circulate more blood. When your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, you're pumping more blood. It requires you to breathe faster, to bring in more oxygen. Remember, if a tiger's chasing you or if you're in a dangerous situation, are you going to be just sitting there like, no, you're going to be like, I got to get away. So it's like your body's simulating a dangerous situation, although you're not in a serious situation, excuse me. I got a little tongue-tied. Difficulty breathing is probably one of the top 5 most common symptoms of anxiety. So if you've gone to the doctor, you've gotten your reassurance, you don't have a heart issue or lung issue, anxiety can do it. But like all these symptoms, if you focus in on it, that tension will remain. You got to think about your chest cavity, your breathing cavity, including your diaphragm, can even be very tense, leading to this. And a lot of you get worried about not getting enough oxygen, even though you're not getting that, that deep breath. I think that's one of the biggest things. You want that last little breath, that deep breath, and you can't get it, you can't achieve it, and you start panicking over it because you're tired and worried about taking these shallow breaths. You're getting enough oxygen, okay? And a lot of times, if you've checked your oxygen amount or if you've been to the doctor, it's just where it needs to be, okay? So what's causing this is a lot of tension. But that would scare the crap out of me. That combined with chest pain, again, that would make me think that I was having a heart attack. Number 9 is dizziness. Dizziness, okay? This can be caused from a few different things. Your blood pressure going up, your heart rate going up, you're sometimes hyperventilating, especially if you're having a panic attack. But anxiety really messes with your vestibular system around your inner ear. So this can cause the off balance, can cause nausea, feeling uncoordinated, and also dizziness. This isn't something that I dealt with 24/7 like some of you out there, and my heart goes out to you. A lot of the people that I coach have dealt with some 24/7 dizziness that really bugs them, makes them feel like they're going to faint. This is very common with anxiety. Again, make sure you get your initial reassurance that anxiety is causing these things. But dizziness was one that kind of messed with me, especially during panic. Number 10, we're halfway, guys. Blurry and tunnel vision. I would get this during panic attacks. I didn't have this on the regular. I had some other eye issues. One of them I will talk to you about, including eye sensitivity. But anxiety does a number on your eyes in many ways. Whenever my blood pressure, my heart rate would skyrocket, I would have that adrenaline rush. It was like my vision would, get more narrow, like I was going to black out. I would never faint or anything like that. And most people with anxiety are not going to faint because of their anxiety unless they have some pre-existing issue with fainting or they have some weird vitamin levels. Always make sure that those are where they need to be. But again, this was just, a fight or flight symptom for me. So blurry vision, tunnel vision, distorted vision. And again, like I was saying, I had some sensitivity to light. Whenever I would leave every single morning, I would have to put sunglasses on because the light would just pierce through my eyes. It would be very painful. So we're halfway through, guys. If you made it this far, I want you to go down in the comment section and comment committed. Because guys, that means you've committed to watching me halfway through this video. I really, really appreciate it. Stick around for the next half. We're gonna jump into it right now. Number 11 is nausea. Again, this is something that I would deal with. It would scare me because, I'm gonna look up nausea on Google like a dummy, but I would do it over and over again, even though it just caused me further anxiety and panic. And I'm gonna get back, every type of cancer in the book. So whenever I was nauseated, I would really feel like there was something wrong with me. I'd start to fear cancer. So nausea, again, not something I dealt with all the time. Sometimes your doctor can prescribe you some medicine to combat the nausea. So talk to your doctor about that and see if he thinks it's a good idea for you, especially if you're dealing with on a 24/7 basis, because it really is hard to get motivated to stick to any type of routine or structure if you're dealing with nausea. So again, if you're dealing with that 24/7, yes, just bottom line, that sucks. Talk to your doctor and see if you can get some help with that. Number 12 is stomach pain. I went through a stint of this for 3 months. I always had IBS symptoms, but whenever I started getting some localized stomach pain, it would freak me out. Remember that your digestive system isn't really a priority when you're really, really anxious, especially if you're in fight or flight. So blood flow is a little less in that area. It can start causing pains in different areas. High, low, left, right, middle. But I had some localized stomach pain, I remember, for a few months. And of course, that made me talking all weird. It made me fear colon cancer, stomach cancer, any type of gut cancer. I worried about my appendix for a while, worried about my liver for a while, especially since I had a history of heavy drinking. So my health anxiety would go crazy when my stomach would hurt. You're not alone in that, especially with the IBS symptoms. It can cause the constipation, the diarrhea, etc. Oh, gas too. That was another one that would cause stomach pain for me. Number 13, back pain. This is another one that sucked. Especially whenever I was waking up every freaking day with it. I would wake up every day with back pain, like I was sleeping on concrete, even though there was nothing wrong with my bed. And then throughout the day, I would get these knots that would develop in my back. It would feel like burning sensations, almost like somebody was putting a cigarette out on my back. It sucked. Always was trying to get people to give me some free massages. It was really, really hard on me. Make sure, guys, if you're exercising and you have a stiff back, please stretch out before you exercise. The last thing I want you to do is throw out your back like I did. I went and did some jump rope. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to start exercising for my anxiety. Didn't do any stretching. I had all this tension in my body. I was like 3 jumps in and the whole bottom of my back fell out. And then I couldn't do anything for 3 days. Imagine having like back problems and back issues whenever you're in your early 20s due to your anxiety. So a lot of this is caused, again, stiffness and tension, okay? The tension's causing your back to be stiff. It's causing the knots. So if you need to get a massage, a warm bath, work on some PMR, progressive muscle relaxation exercises, releasing the tension, self-regulation can help with this. Try those things to ease up the tension. But overall, for most of these symptoms, the way that we make them go away is managing our anxiety more. Number 14 is twitching, and this is another one that scared me, made me feel like I had a neurological disease or something was really wrong with me. I would have twitching everywhere. On the small side, I guess it would be my eye that would twitch, and that would be annoying and embarrassing. On a larger scale, I would have like whole body twitches where I'd just be sitting there and out of nowhere I'd be like, just like my whole body And that one would really freak me out when it would happen. That would only happen probably once every couple weeks, but it was a weird symptom. But I would have twitching in my legs. I would have twitching in my calves, my arms, even my stomach. I got it everywhere, guys. So some of you are dealing with twitching a lot. You're worrying about that. That symptom is just caused by anxiety. When your muscles get tired and they've been tense for a long time, they start to do weird things, including twitching. And that brings me to the next one, which is the internal and external tremors, which is like just a spasm, shaking feeling. You can have this constant. You can have it just come on whenever you feel really anxious. I would have days where I had a constant tremor, and I would have days where it would start to come up before an anxiety attack or a panic attack. And then the internal tremors are just on a deeper level. Externals like on top of the skin or the muscle or near the surface, and an internal is obviously much deeper, so it can affect both areas. Again, a lot of this comes down to not only an overactive nervous system, but it's also coming down to adrenaline and the muscle tension. Your muscles are tired from always being constantly tense. Number 16 is burning skin sensations. Again, another one I did not have very often, but when I did, it freaked me out. And some of you, again, deal with this all the time. Some of you can also have itchiness of your skin, and this is due to overstimulated nerve cells. Yes, overstimulated nerve cells. Whenever sensory nerves, so the nerves that help you feel and touch and give you those sensations, when they're very stimulated, a few different things can happen. Sensitive skin, burning sensations, itchiness, but the burning is terrible. I would get this on my forehead. I would get this on my thighs. I know it's kind of weird, but those are the two primary areas that I would get that. But itchiness as well. And if you have any skin issues, dry skin, eczema, psoriasis, hives, anxiety is going to really affect those areas or affect those issues and make those much worse as well. Just like if you have a primary or a pre-existing issue with headaches or migraines, anxiety is going to exploit that and make that worse as well. So burning skin sensations were something that I dealt with. Number 17 is just left-sided symptoms in general. Seems like most people that have anxiety, especially health anxiety, seem to get a lot of their symptoms, especially the numbness, the tingling, and the shooting pains on the left side. I don't know if this has something to do with the way our brain works, or if it's just our brains are so powerful. We know that the left side is associated with so many issues, including strokes and heart attacks, that our brain mimics it, or if it's just a combination. But I would have left-sided symptoms, my left arm, my left leg, the left side of my chest, and I would think that I was having strokes or heart problems, so that would freak me out. So we're talking numbness, tingling, shooting pains, you name it, or just tension in general. Number 18, eye floaters. This is another one that was pretty scary. Obviously, I told you I was going to get back to another eye symptom. This is just debris in your eye. Most likely it was already there, but now you're very sensitive. You're noticing it, and whenever you're really anxious, your eye tries to bring in more light. So now you're noticing little squigglies, little shapes, little circles, ovals. Everybody describes them differently. But if you're seeing this and you go to the eye doctor, they're going to tell you, well, there's not really anything to do. Your eyes are healthy. It's fine. You're just probably experiencing anxiety, and these things are probably there the whole time. So they were a nuisance after I got my reassurance, but in the beginning, it freaked me out. I thought I was seeing stuff. I thought I was going to go blind. So that was a scary one for me. I know many of you can relate. Number 19 is general fatigue and weakness. And this can be associated with any sickness or illness. Whenever I had my cancer fears, I just felt like I was tired and lethargic. I thought I was just withering away. I thought I was dying. It just confirmed that there was something wrong with me. So it didn't help me with my health anxiety, but your body, especially if you're having as many panic attacks as I was, you're in constant fight or flight. You're constantly in survival mode. You're constantly tense. You're constantly dealing with symptoms. And when you're mentally tired as well, it translates to being physically tired. So if you're dealing with fatigue and tiredness and you've been told that you're healthy, this is totally normal, okay? It sucks. It makes you feel unmotivated. But guys, I just urge you to keep sticking with your routine and keep working through that. It will get better. It really comes down to your attitude about it. But being tired, lethargic, being sleepy, it doesn't help if you're not getting sleep either. It makes you even more, even much more tired than normal. But I would deal with that a lot. And last but not least, insomnia. Number 20 is insomnia. I would, have a rough time sleeping most of the time, but there'd be times where it'd be 1 to 3 nights where I just really didn't get any sleep before my body was like, okay, you have to sleep. I had this association with nighttime. I just had this sense of negativity that would creep over me. I guess some of it had to do with just darkness in general, right? We associate darkness with negativity, but my symptoms would get much, much worse at night because my distractions, my relationships, my family, all those people were asleep and I'm awake. And I'm sitting there, it's usually quiet, right? It's still, there's not as many things going on. Heck, it's even hard to find something on TV to watch. So I'm more focused and in tune with my symptoms than ever. So now since I'm focused, the pain's worse. So a lot of my horrible episodes of anxiety happened at night. And then I started worrying about not getting sleep. So then therefore that would happen. I would toss and turn again at best. So if you're dealing with insomnia, a morning and an evening schedule, you need that structure. Check out my 2 videos, the morning schedule for anxiety and then the best nightly routine for anxiety and insomnia. Check those videos out, just simple search. Those will help out a lot with getting your sleep back on track. But again, like all these other symptoms that I mentioned, you have to, on an overall broad spectrum, work on managing your anxiety and lessening it for these symptoms to start to fade away. But guys, those are my 20 scariest physical anxiety symptoms. It sucked, but I'm telling you, I got through it. I dealt with it for 5 years. I didn't have to deal with it for 5 years. Cut off the external pieces of reassurance that you're seeking, whether that be Googling, checking the vitals, constant doctor visits. I had a mom that was a nurse, so I would always call her all the time. I eventually had to stop doing that. But you have to understand, you're very sensitive, you're hyper aware of everything going in your body. You're very focused on what's happening. You're very in tune to everything, whether it be normal or if it's caused by anxiety. So I know these things can be scary. Just make sure that you get the diagnosis from a mental health professional if you haven't, and then move forward from there. Get the initial reassurance from a professional doctor. Make sure that you don't have anything underlying going on, and from there you have to accept that this is anxiety and start developing internal reassurance that you're fine. Okay, and it takes time, but my tips and everything that I did is down below. Remember, I offer coaching for a more personalized, in-depth strategy that I use to get out of this. It's much more detailistic. So if you're interested in that, always reach out to me via email. That's down below, and I'll send you my info. But guys, if you watch this whole video, I want you to put down, I will recover from anxiety. I want that statement to pop up a lot in the comment section, just like I wanted committed to pop up a lot. I want some positive statements to start popping up in the comment section instead of just the negative, stuff, the negative energy about the symptoms. So I'm gonna try to start doing that more often. But guys, if you watch this whole thing, thank you so much. I struggle at these longer videos. My mouth gets dry and I start to kind of stumble over my words. I'm not perfect at speaking, but thank you guys for sticking around if you did. I love you all, and as always, until next time, keep fighting.